Have you ever wondered why Prince Edward suddenly stepped down from his royal duties in early 2025 without any official statement from the palace? For weeks, the silence was deafening. Whispers swirled among royal watchers, tabloids churned out theories, and the public grew restless for answers. Was it burnout? A private scandal? Or something far more sinister lurking behind the gilded curtains of Buckingham Palace? Now, a bombshell revelation has shattered the carefully curated royal facade. Edward's dramatic comeback has exposed Camilla's cruel act to King Charles on his sickbed, unveiling a calculated plot that's left the nation reeling. Camilla was caught sneaking a clause into Charles's final will, naming herself regent over Edward and stripping him of his promised dukedom. This isn't just palace intrigue, it's a betrayal that's ignited fury across the land. To understand this seismic shift, we need to rewind to early 2025. King Charles III, frail and battling a prolonged illness, had retreated from public view. His reign, marked by a quiet dedication to environmental causes and a steady hand amid family turbulence, was nearing its twilight. The palace issued vague updates about his health, but insiders hinted at a graver reality. Charles was confined to his sickbed, his strength waning by the day. During this fragile time, Camilla, his steadfast consort, was expected to uphold his wishes and shield the monarchy from chaos. Instead, Edward's explosive return has painted a chilling picture of what unfolded behind closed doors. Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, had long been the understated royal. At 61, he'd spent decades supporting his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and later his brother Charles, through initiatives like the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, a programme tied to his father's legacy. In 2023, whispers emerged that Charles intended to elevate Edward's status in his final will, granting him the Dukedom of Edinburgh, a title steeped in legacy and once held by their father. It was a fitting reward for Edward's loyalty and a nod to his decades of quiet service. Charles himself hinted at this in public remarks, and royal watchers saw it as a done deal, a reward for Edward's loyalty. But by April 2025, Edward vanished from the royal roster. No engagements, no appearances, nothing. The palace offered no explanation, leaving the public to speculate wildly. Then came the bombshell. In late March 2025, sources close to Edward leaked a story that sent shockwaves through the kingdom. Camilla had orchestrated a ruthless power play while Charles lay vulnerable. According to these insiders, Camilla had hovered over the king's sickbed, not as a devoted wife, but as a schemer with her eyes on the throne's shadow. With Charles too weak to resist, she allegedly pressured him to amend his will, inserting a clause that would name her regent in the event of his death or incapacitation, effectively sidelining Prince William, the heir apparent, and crushing Edward's promised elevation. Worse still, she ensured Edward's dukedom was scrubbed from the document, relegating him to the margins of royal history. The cruelty of this act cannot be overstated. Picture the scene. Charles, frail and fading, his mind clouded by illness and medication, trusting Camilla to honour his legacy. Edward, meanwhile, waited in the wings, unaware that his sister-in-law was rewriting his future. Camilla's move wasn't just about power, it was personal. By stripping Edward of the Dukedom of Edinburgh, she erased a symbolic bridge to Philip's memory, a slap in the face to a family already fractured by years of tension. The public, long accustomed to Camilla's redemption arc from the other woman to Queen Consort, felt blindsided. How could she betray Charles at his weakest? How could she rob Edward of his due? Edward's comeback changed everything. On April 5, 2025, he emerged from his self-imposed exile with a rare public interview. Standing outside his home at Bagshot Park, his voice steady but his eyes blazing, he didn't mince words. "I stepped away because I could no longer stand by in silence," he declared. "What was done to my brother to me and to this family's honour, cannot be ignored. He didn't name Camilla directly, but the implication was clear. Within hours, leaked documents surfaced, allegedly showing the altered will with Camilla's regency clause scrawled in fresh ink. Royal historians called it unprecedented. Legal experts questioned its validity. The nation, however, didn't need proof to pick a side. They were livid. The fallout was immediate and ferocious. Protests erupted outside Clarence House, Camilla's residence, with crowds chanting, "Justice for Edward" and "Charles betrayed." Social media erupted with hashtags like "Camilla out" and "Edward deserves better," as ordinary Britons vented their disgust. "She's not even blood royal, and she thinks she can rule us," one viral post read. Another demanded, "How dare she touch the king's will when he couldn't fight back?" The anger wasn't just about Edward's title, it was about trust. For years, Camilla had worked to shed her past and win public favour. Now, that goodwill lay in tatters. Camilla's camp scrambled to respond. A palace spokesperson issued a tepid statement. "Her Majesty the Queen Consort has acted only in the best interests of the Crown and the King's wishes." But the words rang hollow. Insiders painted a different picture, claiming Camilla had grown paranoid about her influence waning as Charles's reign ended. With William poised to ascend and Kate's star rising, Camilla feared irrelevance. Naming herself regent, they said, was her desperate bid to cling to power, even if it meant trampling Edward in the process. The dukedom's snub. Pure spite, some whispered, a way to assert dominance over a brother-in-law she'd never fully embraced. Edward's allies rallied behind him. Sophie, his wife, and the Countess of Wessex reportedly confronted Camilla in a tense closed-door meeting, demanding answers. "You've dishonoured Charles and humiliated Edward," she said to have snapped. The royal family, already strained by Harry and Meghan's exit, teetered on the brink of civil war. The legal ramifications of Camilla's alleged tampering remain murky. Constitutional scholars argue that a regency clause imposed under duress could be nullified, especially if Charles was not of sound mind when it was added. Edward's team, it's rumoured, is preparing to challenge the will's authenticity, a move that could drag the monarchy into an ugly courtroom battle. Imagine the headlines, "Queen Consort vs Prince in Will War." The public, already sceptical of royal privilege, might never forgive the institution if it comes to that. For now, Edward stands as an unlikely hero. His comeback has reframed him as the wronged underdog, a man who refused to let Camilla's cruelty go unchecked. His decision to step down in April wasn't cowardice, supporters say, but a strategic retreat to gather strength. By exposing her actions, he's not just fighting for his dukedom, he's defending Charles's legacy from a woman many now see as a usurper. "Edward's the only one with guts," a protester outside Buckingham Palace declared. "Camilla thought she'd get away with it, but he's shown us the truth." The nation's fury shows no signs of abating. Camilla, once a polarising figure who clawed her way to acceptance, has become a lightning rod for betrayal. Her every move is scrutinised, her past dredged up anew. "She waited decades to be queen, and this is what she does," a tabloid columnist sneered. Edward, meanwhile, has vowed to keep speaking out, promising more revelations if justice isn't served. What those might be, no one knows, but the prospect keeps the public on edge.